there's a place they call lonesome. Don't see why they call it lonesome. I'm never lonesome when I go there. See that bird sitting on my windowsill? Well, he's saying whippoorwill all the night through. See that brook running by my kitchen door? Well, it couldn't talk no more if it was you. Up that tree there's sort of a squirrel thing. Sounds just like we did when we were quarreling. In the yard I keep a pig or two. They drop in for dinner like you used to do. I don't stand in the need of company with everything I see talking like you. Up that tree there's sort of a squirrel thing. Sounds just like we did when we were quarreling. You may think you left me all alone, but I can hear you talk without a telephone. I don't stand in the need of company with everything I see talking like you. See that bird sitting on my windowsill? Well, he's saying whippoorwill all the night through. Just whippoorwill all the night through. In between two tall mountains there's a place they call lonesome. Don't see why they call it lonesome. I'm never lonesome, now I live there. People say a roving woman is likely not to be better than she ought to be. So when I stray away from where I got to be, someone always takes me home. A lady never should habituate saloons, and that is where I find myself on many afternoons. But just as I begin to blow away the foam, someone tips his hat to me and takes me home. People say a roving woman is likely not to be better than she ought to be. So when I stray away from where I got to be, someone always takes me home. Now poker is a game a lady shouldn't play, and every floating poker game just seems to float my way. But long before I've lost a thing besides my comb, someone tips his hand to me and takes me home. Don't see why they always do it. Can't be vanity, must be sheer humanity when some kind soul remarks with great urbanity, "Lady, let me take you home." Of course there's bound to be some little aftermath that makes a pleasant ending for the straight and narrow path. And as I go to sleep, I cannot help but think how glad I am that I was saved from cards and drink. People say a roving woman is likely not to be better than she ought to be. So when I stray, there's positively got to be someone there to take me home. I knew a man once very long ago. They say that he was born in Buffalo, but I don't believe it. Buffalo was never sufficiently gilded and pearled, and this man turned out to be the playboy of the Western world. Oh, he was elegant, past all dreaming. He made seeming seem like the real McCoy. All the sheikhs of Araby, all the shahs of Persia couldn't hold a candle to this boy. When he walked through a room, it looked as handsome as Napoleon's tomb, and the 40 road could have been Mercedes-Benz a la mode. When he took me out, I didn't doubt that we were going to the Astor or the Sherry Netherland. Spring seemed to linger in the little bunch of flowers he pressed into my hand. Little bunch of flowers didn't cost a dime, pick them in the park in their prime. He went around with his heart unfurled, the one and only playboy of the Western world. You could fall in love with everyone you'd meet when you walk with him down the street. Playboys die young, this one did too. Worn out, making dreams come true, and the world was grim again without him, without him. For he was elegant, past all dreaming. He made seeming seem like the real McCoy. All the sheikhs of Araby, all the shahs of Persia couldn't hold a candle to this boy. When they took him out, oh, I didn't doubt that we were going to Miami or some other wonderland. Spring seemed to linger in the little bunch of flowers I pressed into his hand. Little bunch of flowers didn't cost a dime, pick them in the park in their prime. He went around with his heart unfurled, the one and only playboy of the Western world. He was the playboy of the Western world. The playboy of the Western world. I have considered the lilies. They never toil, they only bloom. They never feel chilly or tired or silly, and they don't need much room. I have considered the lilies. I have considered how they grow. Tell me how to be a lily, if you know. Oh, lilies toil not, neither do they spin. I'm gonna take my moon by night, and blooming will be my delight. Right, tiger lily, still water lily, see how they all dilly-dally. Look at the day, lily, lemon lily, calla lily, and the lovely little lilies of the valley. Oh, lilies toil not, neither do they spin. I'm gonna take my working papers and turn them in to be more splendid than Solomon. I'll walk around wearing the morning sun, the sun by day, the moon by night, and blooming will be my delight. It would be fun, but I'm afraid that I would freeze. King Solomon was not arrayed like one of these. So, lilies, I can't afford to dilly-dally. I got to work for my cotton, work for my denim, linen, and damask and chalice. Not like the day lily, lemon lily, calla lily, and the lovely little lilies of the valley. I have considered the lilies. I have considered how they grow. Tell me how to be a lily, if you know. I'm just a dusty cowhand, a dusty, thirsty soul. I used to keep my money in a pocket with a hole. I've got one ambition, like wishing for the moon, to drink a glass of pleasure, full measure, bulging out and brimming over at the Clover Saloon. I was sitting there one evening and feeling I was straight. A feller called me something I particularly hate. I threw a bottle at him, but the feller ducked too soon. That's how I lost my credit at the Clover Saloon. I'm just a dusty cowhand, and brother, I am broke. And brother, I'm so thirsty, I'm going up in smoke. I got one ambition, like wishing for the moon, to drink a glass of pleasure, full measure, bulging out and brimming over at the Clover Saloon. Threw the bottle at him and missed him like I said. I broke the barroom mirror and left it there for dead. I shot him through the middle to make him change his tune. That's how I lost my credit at the Clover Saloon. I'm just a dusty cowhand, awaiting for the worst. They're hanging me tomorrow in the middle of my thirst. I got one ambition, like wishing for the moon, to drink a glass of pleasure, full measure, bulging out and brimming over at the Clover Saloon. That's how my story was begun. I'll tell you another about Johnny's brother. And now you may think my story is done. The first time I met Johnny, I could see he was bonny, and when he looked at me, how he did glow. But just as we were gazing at each other, Johnny's brother was down in Mexico. I went to a party with Johnny, my hearty. I've never felt so happy and so gay. But just as we're drinking to each other, Johnny's brother was down in Santa Fe. And out in the garden, my heart would not harden. How well I can recall those tender scenes. But just as we're kissing one another, Johnny's brother was down in New Orleans. I didn't want to tarry my Johnny to marry, and so I got myself a wedding gown. But just as we were wedded to each other, Johnny's brother came riding into town. The years have been merry, oh very, very, very. I love my Johnny well and he loves me. But all the while we're loving up each other, Johnny's brother holds the baby on his knee. I told you a story about Johnny McClory. That's how my story was begun. I've told you another about Johnny's brother, and now my story is done. When my man goes to sea, he steps so high and free. I think I know as I watch him go that he has no need for me, for me. And when my man comes home and waits a while to roam, I think I see when he smiles at me that he's dreaming of the foam, the foam. I'm not a pious Christian, I do not go to Mass, but I pray to Father Neptune to let him safely pass. I sing to the God with the three-pronged rod and the whiskers wild and free, that I've got a man with a beard and tan and a passion for the sea. He rides through the storm and the cold and the warm, and he loves to risk his neck. And I like to know when he goes below that it's just below the deck. Oh, Neptune, Father Neptune, I tell you fair and true, that if you should lose my sailor, I'll sing no more to you. When he's home from sea, he's half with me, and he's gone when I close the door. And it's still his creed that he has no need for a wife except on shore. I know it's a boat that keeps him afloat, but I like to think it's me. And if it were not for this, I would sing to the depths of the sea. goes without a man to marry yet. Sweet Amelia, let us sing. Lord, I wish her name was Harriet. Lovely far beyond comparison, we have never seen her like. Loved and lost by Charlie Harrison, Ebenezer Jones, and Dick Van Dyke. Sweet Amelia's hair is golden, sweetly floating, sweetly folding. Saw it through the window as I passed, sweetly hung at quartermast. Trips she lightly o'er the leaves, sounding like a herd of elephants. Birds and flowers turn to see, that is what I call irrelevance. Lovely far beyond comparison in a most ethereal way. Loved and lost by Charlie Harrison, doubtless she began with Henry Clay. Sweet Amelia's eyes are shining, ever laughing, never pining. You should see her laughing, fit to die, with a cinder in her eye. Wind me now a daisy chain, make it out of steel and chromium. Our Amelia's here again, listening to this encomium. Lovely far beyond comparison, fairer we shall never see. Loved and lost by Charlie Harrison, Charlie was the one she stole from me. Sweet Amelia's heart is glowing, suitors coming, suitors going. If she'd make her mind up fair and square, we could solve the traffic problem there. A witch there was, and a wizard as well, moved into a rose-covered cottage in hell, a rose-covered cottage in hell. The wizard, in spite of his wizardly eyes, didn't know he had married a witch in disguise. He thought her a very respectable maid, and hoped she would never discover his trade. The witch was not wanting in womanly wiles. She covered her bridegroom with waffles and smiles. She only went witching on Saturday night, and hoped in between times it all would go right. Next day the witch bore the wizard an elf, so handsome he looked like the devil himself, and he was the devil himself. The wizard looked down at his son, surprised, saying, "None of my family has lavender eyes. I think for my honor there's only one course. I'll ask you to grant me an instant divorce." The witch was in tears, for she knew beyond doubt she certainly hadn't been getting about. And now, since the baby had lavender eyes, she saw very clearly her husband's disguise. The devil looked up from his crib and he smiled. Don't break up your home, you must think of your child. Remember your poor little child. A child, said the witch, as is very well known, requires a mama and papa of his own. Although you're a very contemptible man, I think we should both stick it out if we can. The wizard refused to acknowledge his son, but in dutiful deeds he would not be outdone by a wife who would waffle and put things to rights and stick to her knitting on Saturday nights. The witch settled down and the wizard as well, and both began raising the devil in hell in rage and vexation and tears. The witch can't stop witching, the wizard won't speak, and though they've been married for only a week, it seems like 1,000 years. Ever since we met, the world's been upside down, and if you don't stop troubling me, you'll drive me out of town. But if you go away, as trouble ought to do, where will I find another soul to tell my trouble to? My bed is made of stone, a star has burned my eye. I'm going down to the willow tree and teach her how to cry. But if you go away, as trouble ought to do, where will I find another soul to tell my trouble to? They bid me wear my hat, put on a nice new gown. I've tossed my bonnet over the roof and I guess it won't come down. But if you go away, as trouble ought to do, where will I find another soul to tell my trouble to? Weep a tear for John Brady. 7 long years he loved his lady. He was a simple guy, singing I'll love her till I die. Weep a tear for John's lady. 7 long years she went with Brady. All he could say or sigh was, lady, I love you till I die. Somebody else said, lady, be mine. I've got a house with a flowering vine. I'll take you out to faraway shores, and everything I have is yours. Weep a tear for John Brady. 6 foot under where it's shady. He was a simple guy, There is a vine growing on my garden wall, and it is brown and withered in the fall, and in the spring its leaves are green and blossoms all aflame. But spring or fall, still I love you just the same. There is a gate halfway down my garden wall, and in the night I lock it, bolts and all, and in the day it's open wide to all who would come through. But day or night, it is never locked for you. There is a tree growing by my garden gate, and year by year it seems to stand and wait. And here am I beneath the tree, for I am waiting too. And oh my love, I will always wait for you. When I go traveling, I take along with me something to tell me why I went away, something to tell me why I'm coming back someday. Take along my white satin, that's what I wear to dine and dance when I sail from Manhattan to the south of France. Lay my head in strange places, still in the most enchanted night. I can see those old faces in the Broadway light. When I go traveling, I take along with me something to tell me why I went away, something to tell me why I'm coming back someday. When I left New York City, I had a pair of aching feet. I had the urge to sit pretty and get off the street. Lay my head in strange places, still in the most enchanted night. I can see those old faces in the Broadway light. When I go traveling, I take along with me something to tell me why I went away, something to tell me why I'm coming back someday. There once was a girl in the olden days, grew weary of men with a roving gaze. Farewell, fickle lovers, goodbye, goodbye, for I'm falling in love with the man in the sky. The man in the sky, he walks in haste, with 3 bright buckles around his waist, with a great dog near and a little dog nigh, and a steady gleam in his golden eye. The girl went out on a windy hill cried when the night was dark and still. Come down, you man in the sky, or else I am likely to pine and die. The man in the sky didn't stop to talk. He went right on with his evening walk, and the great dog howled and the little dog whined, and the girl grew cold in the rising wind. She took to her bed from the light of the sun, but when sun his course had run, she went to window so high, and waited and watched Orion go by. The man in the sky, he walks in haste, with 3 bright buckles around his waist, with a great dog near and a little dog nigh, and a gleam for her in his golden eye. One night she stood on her windowsill and stepped right out on the highest hill, and climbed to the place where the planets are, and jumped from there to the nearest star. She rocked in Cassiopeia's chair, and waked the dragon and roused the bear, and the great dog howled and the little dog whined, and the girl grew cold in the rising wind. She found Orion at last, and then she found he was just like other men. When on his shoulder her head she lay, his eye was a million miles away. The great dog howled and the little dog whined, and the girl grew cold in the rising wind, and the dragon snarled and the lion roared, and the stars flew by in a golden hoard. This tale is a moral brief to tell, and I won't go on, for you know it well. Remember the girl from the days gone by, who fell in love with the man in the sky. She rocked in Cassiopeia's chair, and waked the dragon and roused the bear, and where the buried her I forget, but the man in the sky isn't married yet. We go walking in the dark, we go walking out at night, and it's not as lovers go 2 by 2, to and fro, but it's 1 by 1 by 1 in the dark. We go walking out at night, as we wander through the grass, we can hear each other pass, but we're far apart in the dark. We go walking out at night, with the grass so dark and tall, we are lost past recall. If the moon is down, against the dark, and I was happy as a lark. We lived alone, my house and I. We had the earth, we had the sky. I had a lamp against the dark, and I was happy as a lark. I had a stove and a window screen. I had a table painted green. Sat on a chair with a broken back, wearing a pretty potato sack. I had a rug upon the floor, and roses grew around my door. I had a job, my wants were few. They were until I wanted you, and I set my eyes on you. Nothing else would do, nothing else would do. Shall we dine out, my dear, and dance the night away? Don't say you're tired, you know you haven't worked all day. We've paid the rent, finally, and we're free to be free. Come now and waltz the empty pocket walls with me. Let's close our door and make believe we're all alone. Grandma can't hear, and baby's sleeping like a stone. We paid the doctor his fee, and we're free to be free. Come now and waltz the empty pocket walls with me. Why so unhappy? Don't be that way. Maybe they'll make me queen for a day. You'll find a job, probably, or be free, or be free to waltz again this empty pocket walls with me. Oh, keep on sleeping when I pass your door, and keep on hoping I will come no more. To me tomorrow will be all the same, for sorrow, sorrow, sorrow is my name. Oh, keep on singing when you hear my feet, and keep on dreaming if your dream is sweet. And you may borrow candles for your game, but still your sorrows come in just the same. And if you fear me, if you love me, I will go away. And if you scorn me, I will lay you waste. And if you know me, I will come to stay. So keep on singing when you hear my feet, and keep on dreaming if your dream is sweet. To me, tomorrow will be all the same, for sorrow, sorrow, sorrow is my name. Honeybee, go and tell the starling to go and tell my darling to hurry home to me. Honeybee, say I'm sad and lonely, and say I'm wishing only his loving smile to see. We had a fight and he's been gone, an hour by the clock upon the shelf. He was right, but I'm too proud to go and tell him so myself. So honeybee, go and tell the starling to go and tell my darling to hurry home to me. Here is the door, and who will ring the bell? What shall we say? Is she waking? Is she sleeping? Sweet is the air, the moon is on the hill, fair as the night when they chose each other's keeping. I'll tell her this, that her loving is a losing. Why must we be choosing to love what we must part with? I told her so. She was young and dreaming, wanting something gleaming to decorate her heart with. I'll tell her this, when a lover is a stranger, loving is a danger because his heart is hidden. I told her so. On the day she met him, she would not forget him and do as she was bidden. Here is the door, and who will ring the bell? What shall we say? Is she sleeping? Is she waking? Just an hour ago by the well in the meadow, she was made a widow, and bloody was the making. I'll tell her this, if there was another woman that was something human, leave him or abide him. I told her so. He was living fancy, every Jane and Nancy found a place beside him. by the well, talking with him. She was raging, she was weeping. Here's the door, and who will ring the bell? What shall we say if she swears that she was sleeping? Sad lady walking through town with a light sad step and a golden gown. Mad lady dancing on down with a wreath of roses and violets and rue and daisies for a crown. See how the lake is frozen over. See how the grass is turning brown. And on the night she lost her lover, all of the stars came tumbling down. Sad lady walking through town with a light sad step and a golden gown. Mad lady dancing on down with a wreath of roses and violets and rue and daisies for a crown. Down this road on a Monday morning came a riding three strangers. Down this road on a Monday morning came a riding three strangers. There was one wearing green and one a peacock feather and one wearing overshoes against the wintry weather. And they gave me 6 white horses for to carry my load, and they beckoned me to follow, and they took me down this road. On a Monday morning came a riding three strangers. Down this road on a Monday morning came a riding three strangers. There was one wearing green and one a peacock feather and one wearing overshoes against the wintry weather. And they gave me 6 white horses for to carry my load, and they beckoned me to follow, and they took me down this road. La, 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 la. This letter comes from Fortune's child. You see no other name is signed. You may recall my heart was wild, and to your love I paid no mind. We never could go hand in hand, so to your love and you could never understand that I was fortune's only child. You used to ask me what I wanted. I said the world and time and space. My heart was wild, my head was haunted with every new and smiling face. I said I'd wait till fortune smiled. I said I'd never change my mind. This letter comes from fortune's child, but when was fortune ever kind? The moon has no heart, else why did she fly down the west of the sky when my lover and I had to part? The moon has no heart, how sly was her art to light up the night when our love was still bright. But when from my side he did start, the moon had no heart. He is gone and I weep and I never shall sleep. But still in the west, with her hand on her breast, not a tear in her eye, she stares from the sky, and I cry. The moon has no heart, else why did she fly down the west of the sky when my lover and I had to part? The moon has no heart. In just spring, when the world is mud luscious, the little lame balloon man whistles far and wee, and Eddie and Bill come running from marbles and Pharisees, and it's spring, and the world is puddle wonderful. Queer old balloon man whistles far and wee, and Betty and Isabel come dancing from hopscotch and jump rope, and it's spring, and the goat-footed balloon man whistles